After 10 years as his lover, I turned around and married his rival. Chapter 1. When I was 10, I was orphaned at a young age. Marcus found me and took my hand. Will you come home with me, become mine? From now on, I'll take care of you. I looked at his long, slender hands and nodded. And just like that, I stayed with him for 10 whole years. Everyone in Metropolis City knew Marcus had a cherished lover, loving her to his very core. Their social circle also circulated rumors that Marcus's future wife would undoubtedly be me. But on the night of the birthday banquet, after Marcus and I intimately made love, he threw a photograph at me. Grace, I've taken care of you for 10 years. Now it's time for you to repay me. I need an arranged marriage with the Eleanor family. This is Eleanor's secret crush. Go seduce him and create an opportunity for me. I want Eleanor to marry me willingly. I stared at the photograph in my hand. Frozen in place, Marcus put his arm around me and kissed the side of my cheek. He spoke, his voice still hoarse from our recent intimacy. Tomorrow I'll arrange for you to meet him, with your looks and charm. You're sure to captivate him. Eleanor is very concerned with her image. When she sees you two together, she'll naturally give up. Eleanor was the arranged marriage partner Marcus needed, but also the true love he harbored in his heart. They grew up together, and Marcus always had a subtle affection for her. Unfortunately, Eleanor never truly saw him. She only ever saw Marcus as a playmate. No matter how much Marcus did for her, she only had eyes for Julian, the most esteemed man in all of Metropolis City. Marcus, unwilling to accept this, strategically turned to me. He believed that if he acted as though he loved me deeply and neglected Eleanor for a while, she would understand his worth and accept him. It was from then on that Marcus cherished me beyond words. Exclusive designer wear, not even released yet, he bought for me. A casual remark from me about wanting to go to the US, and he dropped everything to take me there for a wild time. Anything I desired, even the stars in the sky, Marcus would get for me without a second thought. Ordinarily, Marcus never shied away from acknowledging my status. Everyone in their social circle knew Marcus treasured me like the apple of his eye. They even said when he took me in, he was raising a future wife for himself. As time went on, even I became immersed in this intricate web Marcus had woven. I thought he might have had some feelings for me too. But now, all those dreams were shattered. My muddled mind instantly cleared, and I retracted those budding feelings before they could even take root. All right, I'll do whatever you say. Marcus's hand movements paused for a moment, looking at my docile face. He probably felt a pang of heartache, and gently pulled me into his embrace. Don't worry. It's just to seduce him. Once it's done, I'll give you money, and you can go wherever you want. No one will be able to hurt you. I forced a faint smile. Okay? My answer pleased Marcus greatly. As usual, he pulled me down onto the bed and kissed the corner of my mouth. It's still early. Stay with me a little longer. But now, I had no interest whatsoever. I pushed him away and sat up. I don't feel well. Let's not. Marcus's gaze was obscure and unreadable. He watched me intently, and after a few seconds, he smiled and spoke. All right, whatever my Grace wants. Time flies. You're all grown up now. Do you have someone special? If there's anyone you like, once this is over, I'll play matchmaker for you. After all, deserves the best man in the world. A sudden bitterness swelled in my heart. The next second, I frantically picked up my clothes, put them on, and headed out. Tears threatened to fall, but I stubbornly held them back. Marcus watched my actions but said nothing more yet. Just as I was about to walk out the door, he called my name. Grace. My steps halted, but I didn't dare turn around. I will always be your family, even if you get married. Do you understand? I didn't respond and left straight away. 10 years since he took me in. In those 10 years, Marcus had done so much for me. How could I hope for things I shouldn't? The word family was his reminder to me, and a warning. Yes, as long as he's happy, I'm willing to do anything. I should be content. Chapter 2. A few days later, Marcus suddenly gave me a ticket to an art exhibition. I remember you liked this exhibition. I had someone get a ticket for you. Go and relax. Just as I was about to take the ticket, a pair of hands suddenly intervened. Where did you get tickets for this art exhibition? I want to go see it. Give it to me. Eleanor suddenly arrived at Marcus's estate. She didn't even look at me, simply stuffing the ticket into her pocket. I heard Julian's been looking for these tickets lately. If I give them to him, he might be a little happier, right? I clearly saw Marcus's eyes dim for a moment, but in an instant, he acted as if nothing had happened, pouring a glass of water for Eleanor. You've been chasing him for so long, and you're still not giving up. I think he's really not interested in you." Eleanor, infuriated, kicked him. My pupils contracted, and I instinctively lifted my foot, wanting to check on Marcus, but only paused for a few seconds before coaxing her with a smile. "All right, my dear," I spoke out of turn, "but I'm telling you, constantly chasing after him like this definitely won't work. Men always prefer those who aren't easily won over. You should ignore him for a few days, and then he'll naturally come looking for you." "Really?" Marcus didn't answer her. He took the ticket from her hand and handed it to me. "Please take this ticket to Mr. Julian for Ms. Eleanor. Tell Julian that Ms. Eleanor knew he liked this art exhibition and specifically found this ticket for him." I nodded, took the ticket from Marcus's hand, and left the room without looking back. Just as I closed the door, I heard disgusted remarks coming from inside. "It's been 10 years. Haven't you had enough of your pet project game? What? Are you actually planning to marry her?" Marcus spoke, a teasing tone in his voice. "Didn't you say you don't want to marry me? Then I have to find a backup. Why don't you consider marrying me? I'll make her leave immediately." My heart felt as though it had been fiercely pierced at that moment. I shed silent tears, forcing myself to leave. It seemed Marcus had specially arranged it. When I arrived at Vance, someone was already waiting downstairs to escort me in. The secretary opened the door and nodded at me. Looking at the man sitting at his desk, unsmiling and radiating coldness, I took a deep breath and approached. "Didn't I say not to disturb me when I'm working?" Julian, displeased, looked up when he heard the movement, but the moment he saw me, he shed his icy demeanor. "Why are you here? Isn't Marcus with you?" I shook my head and handed him the ticket I held. "This is from Ms. Eleanor. She heard you liked this art exhibition and specifically had someone get this ticket for you." Julian didn't take the ticket. His gaze remained fixed on me. "Who upset you?" Hearing his words, I froze. Julian always seemed to notice when my mood was off, even more so than Marcus. "No one." Remembering the task Marcus had given me, I composed myself and spoke softly. "This is for you. I couldn't make it to your birthday, so consider it a belated gift." Julian took a painting from the drawer. My eyes lit up the moment I saw the painting. It was painted by my favorite artist. I'd always loved it. But because Eleanor didn't like it, Marcus, afraid she'd be upset if she saw it at his estate, forbade me from buying it. He finally relented some time ago and allowed me to buy it. But by then, it was gone. I never expected Julian to have bought it. I waved my hand, declining. "This gift is too valuable, Mr. Julian. I can't accept it." "Then he'll just throw it away." "I don't need it anyway, Julian." His face cold, made to throw it away. I immediately picked it up. "Just give it to me." For some reason, as I said that, I thought I saw a fleeting smile on Julian's face. "Will you attend the art exhibition, please?" Marcus's words echoed inappropriately in my mind. "Are you going? Or rather, do you want me to go with you?" Seeing his enigmatic gaze, I was about to refuse, but then I remembered I still needed to find an opportunity to get close to him. So I nodded immediately. "Yes, I do. I want to go with you." "And with Marcus?" Julian raised an eyebrow. "Since you want me to, I'll go." I looked at his smiling eyes and left in a rush. The moment I stepped out of Vance, I could feel my heart pounding rapidly. What's wrong with me? Lost in thought, a voice suddenly reached my ears. "Grace, get in the car." I looked up, and it was Marcus. But for some reason, looking at his face, I felt no joy at all. Once in the car, Marcus saw the painting in my hand, Julian's. I nodded. For some reason, I thought I saw a fleeting flicker of displeasure in his eyes. Chapter 3. How could you accept something so valuable? I'll have someone return it to him later. You can only accept things from me, understand? It was the first time Marcus displayed such raw emotion in front of me. He forcefully took the painting from my hand and tossed it onto the back seat. I looked at his expression, confused as to why. Didn't he ask me to seduce Julian? Why is he unhappy now? Marcus noticed my gaze and assumed I was upset. He took my hand and coaxed softly. "You belong to me. Even gifts should come from me. Grace, I hope you understand." I pulled my hand from Marcus's grip and quietly acknowledged him. "By the way, Eleanor is having a disagreement with her family lately, so she's staying with us for now. You should move out of the room. It wouldn't be good for her to see us sleeping together." I nodded compliantly. The car quickly arrived at Marcus's estate. Marcus remained silent the whole way, opened the car door, and led me back to the room. I looked at him, feeling a bit bewildered. It wasn't until he threw me onto the bed and started tearing at my clothes that I realized what was happening. Marcus, no. It was the first time I had ever refused him. He seemed genuinely angry, gripping my chin and looking at me. Grace, you need to remember, before you're married, you belong only to me. Marcus, even if you genuinely like someone, it absolutely cannot be Julian. Hearing's words, my heart went cold, because the person he liked Eleanor. I wasn't even allowed to like him. In's heart, I was always Eleanor's substitute. But he didn't know that substitutes also have feelings. The string that had been tightly wound around my heart for so long suddenly snapped. I forcefully pushed away the already frenzied Marcus and spoke. Ms. Eleanor will be here soon, you should leave quickly. Marcus froze for a few seconds. His rationality returned in an instant. The art exhibition is all arranged. Get some rest then, I'm leaving. Marcus gently caressed my head, his eyes tender, as if nothing had just happened. After left, I sat blankly in the room, looking at everything around me. It seemed none of this had ever belonged to me from the start. Julian was even more approachable than I had imagined. I didn't even have to exert much effort. I approached him with ease. He didn't put his guard up against me either. He agreed to every request I made. Grace, later you just need to kiss him in front of Eleanor, so Eleanor sees it and gets upset. Don't do anything else. I looked at the person diligently observing the paintings in front of me and spoke. Mr. Julian, could you accompany me to see over there? Julian paused for a few seconds, then looked at me deeply. Are you really sure about this? Hearing his question, my heart fluttered, but ultimately, seeing Marcus watching Eleanor with tender eyes from nearby, I still nodded. After this one thing is done, Marcus and I will have no connection whatsoever. Then I won't owe him anything. After realizing this, I don't know where I found the courage, but I grabbed Julian's hand. Close to Eleanor, I pulled Julian's neck down and kissed him. Julian seemed to have anticipated it. He only paused for a few seconds before closing his eyes and deepening the kiss. Holding me close, he seemed to smoke. A faint scent of tobacco filled his mouth, but far from disliking the scent, I found myself somewhat addicted to it. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Eleanor being led by Marcus, heading this way. My heart immediately tensed up. I even felt a strong urge to escape. Julian seemed to sense my emotions and pulled me into an embrace. Grace, it's too late to leave now. With that, under my somewhat shocked gaze, Julian held my neck and deepened the kiss. He kissed me even more passionately. I felt like I was almost out of breath. Despicable woman. What are you doing? Chapter 4. Eleanor's frantic voice rang in my ears. The entire exhibition fell into an eerie silence because of her scream. Everyone's gaze turned towards us. Julian tried to shield me, but I pushed him away. I looked at Marcus. Isn't this what he wanted? Once and I were exposed in public. The Eleanor family would deem it beneath them to allow Eleanor to marry him. Eleanor would also abandon that idea, but for some reason, I didn't see a hint of joy on Marcus's face. This left me a bit confused, however. The sudden stinging pain on my face prevented me from thinking much. I looked at the furious Eleanor in front of me. That slap just now was from her. She pointed at Julian and me, speaking with disbelief. Julian, how could you be interested in such a little beggar? Don't you know, her status is completely beneath yours. My heart clenched instantly, and I instinctively wanted to explain, but suddenly embraced me, his face cold. Who I'm with is none of your concern. Publicly humiliated, Eleanor couldn't bear it and left the exhibition crying. Marcus gave me a long, deep look, then also left. I stood blankly in the center of the exhibition hall. Countless spotlights illuminated me. This was all arranged by Marcus beforehand. His original intention was to blow this matter out of proportion, so Eleanor and Julian would have no possibility left. But he never considered the immense public scrutiny I would face because of it. Don't listen, don't look, just come out with me first. Suddenly, Julian's gentle voice reached my ears. He covered my eyes and picked me up. Delete all these media photos for me. And spread the word. I'm marrying Grace in a month. Julian spoke coldly to his assistant beside him. I was utterly shocked by his words. No, just as I spoke, Julian suddenly covered my mouth. His warm voice, tinged with a hint of grievance, reached my ear. Now that the media knows about this, if you don't marry me, they'll say I broke my promise. It already looks like I'm seducing a married man. Can you really bear to let that happen? Even though I knew Julian was just being unreasonable. How could someone of his status possibly care about such things? Yet I still chose to believe him. All right. I'll marry you. Because of this incident, I ended up marrying Julian in a daze. Even at the moment I received the marriage certificate, my mind hadn't fully processed it. What's wrong? You're not thinking of backing out, are you? Julian's playfully pleading voice sounded in my ear. Seeing the expression on his face, I froze once again. In my memory, Julian had always been stern and unapproachable. But the man in front of me now had bright eyes and a gentle expression. He made me blush with his gaze. No, I won't. Since we're married, I will definitely treat you well, I said, bracing myself. The smile in his eyes grew deeper. Then I'll go with you to your place to get your luggage, and then we'll go to my apartment. I hesitated for a moment. Marcus and Eleanor are both at the estate recently, and I really don't want to see them. Are you still regretting it? Julian looked at me, his eyes reddening. I had no defense against that look. Who could blame him? I was the one who provoked him in the first place. No regrets. Chapter 5. Upon arriving at Marcus's estate, I didn't let Julian come up with me. As soon as I pushed open the door, I saw Marcus and Eleanor sitting there. Oh, the little beggar is back. What? You've already hooked up with Julian, and he didn't give you any money, so you need to come back to Marcus's estate to beg? I clenched my fists, listening to her words without rebuttal. Eleanor, however, seemed to be furious because of that incident. She walked over to me, raised her hand, and tried to slap me. My expression tightened, and I grabbed her hand. Marcus, is this how you've raised her? A despicable woman will always be a despicable woman, with no manners at all? Eleanor seemed to have completely transformed. She no longer had the gentle, dignified demeanor of a young lady. Now, she looked exactly like a furious woman in front of me. Grace, let go of her hand. I looked at him, surprised to find that my heart was completely calm. No, it was the second time I had defied Marcus. The displeasure in his eyes intensified. Grace, Marcus, I want you to hit her and avenge me. If it weren't for this despicable woman using the media to create hype for herself, how could Julian and I have broken up? Marcus's eyes were profound. He sat in his seat, a frown on his face, watching Eleanor and me. Eleanor, let's just drop it. It's rare for Grace to come home today. Eleanor sharply interrupted him. I said, either you beat her to death, or you let me slap her to vent my anger, and then this matter is over. Marcus sighed after hearing that. He stood up and slowly walked to my side, looking at me with an apologetic gaze. Grace, just agree to it. Don't worry. I'll compensate you for all the grievances you've suffered. I looked calmly at Marcus. But I don't want to. Marcus froze. He seemed to finally lose his temper due to my repeated provocations. Grace, this is an order. I curled the corner of my lips. Marcus, you have no right to order me around like that. I haven't owed you anything for a long time. Marcus stood rooted to the spot. I'm just here to pick up my luggage today. I'm moving out immediately. With that, not wanting to argue with them anymore, I pushed Eleanor aside and headed towards the room. Behind me, Eleanor's hysterical roar sounded. I paid it no mind at all now. Marcus and I were nothing more than strangers. The moment I opened the door to the room, I still froze for an instant. My belongings, which should have been neatly arranged, were carelessly strewn across the floor. Even my expensive paintings had tear marks. I didn't need to think to know whose handiwork this was, but I no longer had the energy to pursue the matter soon. I packed my already sparse luggage and brought it downstairs. I didn't take any of the things Marcus had given me. In fact, throughout our time together, he never knew that I didn't like those things at all. Eleanor was the one who liked them. Where are you going after leaving here? Seeing me come down with my suitcase, Marcus's expression darkened, and he grabbed my wrist. Mr. Marcus, where I go should be none of your concern. With that, I forcefully pushed his hand away. From now on, when we meet, I ask that Mr. Marcus pretend not to know me. Grace, must you be this way? I looked at Marcus and spoke calmly. Yes, Mr. Marcus, I've repaid all your kindness. Chapter 6. Marcus gave me a deep look, then said nothing more. I pulled my meager luggage and left Marcus's estate without looking back. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Marcus running after me, but Eleanor grabbed him just as he was about to catch up. Do you still have feelings for this despicable woman? Marcus, don't forget, we're getting engaged soon. I listened to the news behind me. My heart stirred, but who had always doted on Eleanor in every way, for the first time, lost his temper with her. I know. Eleanor, can you stop being so unreasonable? Grace is my sister. Quite the sister, I scoffed, quickened my pace with my luggage, and left without looking back. Have you been waiting long? Seeing standing outside the car door, watching me intently, I walked over, feeling a bit embarrassed. For some reason, I felt that Julian was a bit unhappy, but he said nothing, just silently pulled my luggage into the car. I couldn't fathom his emotions, but after years of living under someone else's roof, I tentatively tried to appease him. Julian, you. Before I could finish, Julian suddenly pulled my neck and kissed me. This kiss was more passionate and fierce than any before. I frowned, instinctively wanting to push him away, but he leaned close to my ear. His eyes reddened. Why can Marcus? But I can't. I froze. A ludicrous thought crossed my mind. Was jealous? But in an instant, I dismissed that idea. Julian's slender fingers brushed across my lips. He looked at my face and suddenly chuckled. From now on, only I can buy you things. Throw all these away. But before I could finish, Julian, pleadingly, pulled my hand. Are you displeased with my things? No. I was so worn out by him that I simply gave up. We drove in silence. Julian took me back to his apartment. Just as we got out of the car, Marcus's voice suddenly came from behind us. You said you were moving out. Did you mean you were moving in with him? I turned around and looked at Marcus. He glared furiously at Julian and my intertwined hands. Just as I was about to speak, Julian shielded me behind him. Grace, come here. Come home with me. I looked at Marcus, but said nothing more. Marcus was enraged by my attitude. He frowned, looking at Julian. Julian, give Grace back to me. Julian scoffed after hearing Marcus's words. Give her back to you? Marcus, Grace was never your possession. What right do you have to demand I give her back to you? Marcus was provoked. He raised his fist, intending to strike Julian. My heart clenched, and I immediately pulled Julian behind me. Mr. Marcus, have some self-respect. The punch, in the end, didn't land. Marcus looked at me with reddened eyes. In his eyes, I saw anger and a hint of regret. I didn't understand why Marcus was looking at me like that, but at that moment, I simply didn't care. Meeting his pained gaze, I curved my lips into a smile and spoke. Marcus, I suppose I can still call you that, right? Marcus's face stiffened. I ignored him and continued speaking. Julian and I got married last week. Now he's your brother-in-law. So please treat him with respect. Also, I was never your something. I am just myself. Marcus stared blankly at me for a few seconds. He suddenly became agitated, reaching out and gripping my shoulders. Why didn't you tell me you married him? Grace, don't forget I gave you a new life. She already paid you back. Julian forcefully pulled Marcus's hand away and punched him hard. Marcus was knocked to the ground by his punch from the very beginning. You deliberately sent her to get close to me, didn't you? Marcus, you're the one who actively pushed her towards me. What right do you have now to blame him here? Marcus froze. His face was pale, and he spoke unnaturally. I just wanted her to help you seduce Julian, so you could successfully win Eleanor. I finished Marcus's sentence. Julian was about to say something, but I stopped him. I stepped out from behind him, looking at Marcus, my eyes devoid of any emotion. Marcus, you brought me home and gave me a good life, and I'm very grateful. But over these past few years, many of Hayes' developments were projects I contributed to. You should remember that. Half of what you have now is thanks to me. I've actually repaid your kindness long ago. Marcus, there's nothing between us anymore. Do you remember what you said? That if I found someone I liked, you'd help me. Julian is the man I want to marry, and I hope you can sincerely wish me well. With that, I took Julian's hand and left. As we turned to leave, Julian looked at Marcus and spoke. Thank you for letting go, allowing me to have her. I was a little confused. What did he mean, have me? Before this, Julian and I had only been acquaintances, and how did Julian know about my deliberate attempt to seduce him? I wanted to ask him, but he didn't give me the chance. As soon as I followed him to the door of his apartment, he pulled me inside and fiercely covered my lips with his. Chapter 7. Julian always liked doing that. After marrying him, H clung to me, kissing and wanting me many times. Each time, it was unexpected. I couldn't resist, and in the end, H always make me cry. Just like now, Julian. It's still afternoon. Seeing that he wanted to continue, I frantically pushed him away. Julian chuckled softly, lowering his head and pinching my cheek. All right then, I'll let you off the hook today. Oh, by the way, Mom and Dad want to come see you later. We're married now, so you should meet your in-laws. Julian's sudden news made me feel anxious, but I'm not ready yet. The thought of why Julian and I got married filled me with fear. What if they don't like me? Don't worry. Mom and Dad already like you a lot. Julian saw my nervousness and comforted me with a smile. Of course, I didn't believe him. I've never even met his parents. How could they possibly like me? But clearly, my assumption was wrong. The moment Julian's parents arrived, his mother enthusiastically rushed over and hugged me tightly. Since my parents died, I had never experienced a feeling like this. The feeling of being cherished by family. This rascal has liked you for so many years, and now he's finally managed to marry you. You're so beautiful. And you're my daughter-in-law. I absolutely have to brag about you to all my friends. Oh, Grace, this is my welcome gift for you. Please don't dislike it. Staring at the ornate gold bracelet that suddenly appeared on my wrist, I froze. What startled me even more was why his mother said Julian finally got me. Did you and I know each other before? I looked at Julian, confused. He pursed his lips, a hint of disappointment in his eyes. You really did forget, didn't you? It was only through his mother that I learned Julian and I had known each other even before Marcus took me in, to be precise. We were childhood sweethearts back then. It was just that after my parents passed away, I couldn't cope with the shock and lost those memories. You promised me that when I grew up, you'd marry me. But luckily, you didn't break your word entirely. I listened blankly to Julian's words, and long-sealed memories slowly resurfaced in my mind. When I was 5, Julian's family moved abroad to expand their business. Childish promises. The day he left, he held my hand and asked me to wait for him, to marry him someday. I agreed, but later, my family experienced a tragedy, and that memory was sealed away in my mind. Once family learned about the accident at your place, he came looking for you, but unfortunately, Marcus had already taken you away. I looked at Julian, who was standing nearby, looking sad and hurt, and felt a sharp pang of heartache. All the pieces seemed to fall into place. No wonder I always received gifts from Julian on my birthday, surprisingly. Every single gift was exactly what I wanted. No wonder Julian was always the first person to visit me in the hospital whenever I felt unwell. No wonder Julian's gaze had always seemed peculiar to me. I used to think he was just being polite because of Marcus. But I never imagined we'd known each other since childhood. He had never given up on me. Someone had always cared about me. When I came back to my senses, tears were streaming down my face. Julian, feeling a pang of heartache, pulled me into his arms and gently wiped away my tears. You're already so touched by this. If I told you everything, you'd be overwhelmed with gratitude towards me. Listening to Julian's teasing voice, I, however, looked at him seriously. Julian, I promise to treat you well. He froze. After a few seconds, his eyes brightened, and he pinched my cheek. Good, I'll be waiting. The meal was filled with laughter and joy. It was the first time I had ever felt what it was like to be home. Every time before, at Marcus's estate, I was always the one neglected, even during the holidays. Because I was an outsider, I wasn't allowed to be with Marcus. But now, I understood. It wasn't that I couldn't, but that I wasn't valued. Marcus had always treated me as a substitute, so of course, he wouldn't care about my feelings. But now, things were different. I had a family now too. After dinner, Catherine suggested that Julian take me to look at wedding dresses. Since we were married, it was time to hold a wedding. I didn't refuse. Since I had decided to make a good life with him, I wanted all the ceremonies to be complete. As soon as we arrived at the wedding dress shop, I saw a familiar face. Oh, just latch onto Mr. Julian's wealth and you're already at a wedding dress shop. A despicable woman will always be a despicable woman, a vulgar nobody. I looked at the hateful Eleanor in front of me, but said nothing. Eleanor was enraged by my attitude and raised her hand, intending to slap me. I closed my eyes tightly. Suddenly, a voice appeared beside me. Eleanor, haven't you caused enough trouble? If you continue like this, there'll be no need for our wedding. Marcus emerged from behind me and gripped Eleanor's wrist. Eleanor, like a furious woman, slapped Marcus backhanded. Marcus's face immediately turned red and swelled. Do you also have feelings for her? You and Julian are the same. You both like this despicable woman, don't you? Because of Eleanor's voice, everyone's attention was drawn to this spot. Marcus's face alternated between green and white. He had always been very concerned with his image. Now, I could clearly see his fists clenched tight with suppressed anger. Eleanor, please stop making a scene here. Chapter 8. Eleanor was about to lose it again, but Marcus slapped her, leaving her stunned in place. Don't go too far. If you keep this up, I'll cancel the marriage immediately. Don't forget, Eleanor's family still relies on Marcus's estate. Eleanor stared at Marcus in disbelief. She couldn't understand why the man who had always indulged her every whim was now so cold. Marcus ignored Eleanor, turning to look at me. Grace, how have you been? Listening to his words, I nodded. Marcus watched me, then suddenly stepped forward and grabbed my wrist. Grace, if you regret it, let's get a divorce. I'll marry you, and we can be together. I've thought a lot lately. We've been together for so long, we're so compatible. I can't live without you. I listened to his words blankly, feeling no joy at all, only disgust. What did Marcus take feelings for? Grace, I love you. I've always loved you, Mr. Marcus. I'm already married. I took a step back, my voice cold. Marcus froze. His eyes were red-rimmed, and he looked at me with sorrow. But I like you. Don't you like me? We clearly had such a strong connection. Grace, are you still angry? Angry that I made you approach Marcus? That's enough. I interrupted him impatiently. I told you long ago, there's nothing between us anymore. Even if I truly liked you before, I feel nothing for you now. Marcus became agitated, ignoring my resistance. He gripped my shoulders, his eyes red as he roared at me. Grace, I can't accept this. I was the one who was always with you. How could you suddenly fall for Julian? I tried to break free from his grasp, but couldn't. Marcus, let go of me. I shouted loudly. Suddenly, a pair of hands intervened. Julian swung his fist, striking Marcus hard. Marcus was knocked to the ground. Are you all right? Julian shielded me behind him, looking at me with concern. I'm fine. I shook my head at him. Julian, what right do you have? She's mine. Marcus wiped the blood from his face, glaring at him. Julian scoffed. Marcus, even now you don't realize that Grace is not some accessory. She's an independent person with her own thoughts. Keep your disgusting possessive notions to yourself. With that, he pulled me away. Marcus roared after me from behind, unwilling to give up. Grace, you'll regret this. I'll be waiting for you to come back to me after he abandons you. Julian was enraged by his words and turned to confront him, but I stopped him. Now, Marcus meant absolutely nothing to me. His words couldn't provoke me at all. Are you still feeling a pang of heartache for him? Julian, seeing me hold him back, looked at me with a slightly aggrieved expression. Seeing his expression, I gave a helpless smile, stood on tiptoes, and lightly kissed the corner of his mouth. Julian froze in place. It was the first time I had initiated a kiss with him. Seeing his bewildered look, I smiled and looped my arm through his. I was just afraid we'd delay our time looking at wedding dresses. A faint, almost imperceptible smile played on Julian's lips. Seeing him like that, I couldn't help but laugh, and decided to tease him. Julian, are you really that afraid of losing me? Julian's tips turned red. He pretended to be calm and glanced at me. Of course not. Oh, so it's not. Well, maybe I should go back to him then. Saying this, I released Julian's hand and made to walk back. Julian immediately grabbed my hand. Grace, don't you dare. I chuckled. All right. I won't go back. Let's go look at wedding dresses. Help me pick out a beautiful one. That's all for today's story. Thank you for listening. This is my channel. The tales I share drawn from life or woven from imagination are meant to offer you connection, reflection, and perhaps solace or newfound strength. If you long to see your own reflection in others' journeys, or seek a glimmer of light within the maze of emotions, subscribe to my channel. Listen with your heart. Explore the stories of life.